Hello and welcome to Etude number 3, part 4. This is the final part to this etude, and we're going to be looking at the ending to this study. That is micro study 16 through to 20. The main ideas are: be very clear about your right and left hand fingering, especially your right hand fingering. You're going to have to use certain fingerings to get your chords underneath the trills in place. Secondly, you're going to have to use a squeeze flamenco fingering for the A major chord, which we saw in etude number 2 again, but this time it goes from an A to a B flat. Thirdly, you're going to need to control the bass line, so you're going to need some fine control for your thumb. And finally, fourthly, you're going to build up your left hand trill between fingers 2 and 4. All of these are fantastic things, and it's a fantastic ending. Let's dive into micro study number 16. Welcome to micro study number 16. Here we have an A major chord over a G sharp to A trill in the bass. So it sounds like this. There's nothing really difficult about this other than the fact that you have to squeeze a lot with your first finger. Like the micro study before it in the last video, has to start I, B, I, so that you can get your thumb down to the open A. So that is the most important thing. The other little hack here is, because of the speed of this etude, you can actually move this bar in a little bit, like a beat before it needs to be in. If you saw that, it moved on third trill. So again, 1, 2, 3, and that is the top hack here for this section. Again, in the next bar, it's the same thing. Nothing spectacular fingering wise. Squeeze in, and then here, second finger underneath 1 for the B flat, because this is essentially a B flat chord over a very flamenco sounding idea there. Let's look at the second measure for this micro study. Okay, so the second measure, no denying here, is a little bit trickier because you're going to keep the G sharp. It's not going to be over an A bass. So again, you start off with the A chord, the trill in the bass. This time you shift forward and the trill so Villa-Lobos is purposefully hung onto the G sharp. So again, if I do that very slowly, there is a sense of tension there, and he's done that on purpose. But the main thing is this: once that speeds up, you should hear this 1, 2, which is the main thing to hear. And if you contrast that with the bar before, you get this wonderful syncopation idea, which is really important for Brazilian music. So again, the hack is to just move ever so slightly ahead of the beats to get your fingers in. You don't need the second finger underneath it for the first. If you can squeeze your hinge bar in, you can get that in, and then put your second finger down. Or if you can manage it and squeeze it in. I'm not here in the D, but it is possible to kind of fudge it a little, but I wouldn't. So my main fingering would be squeezed in, second finger down to make sure the D's in, and then back out of that little bit of tension. And that's it. It's a D capper to the top, and you start the entire piece again, which we're not going to go through because you can look at that yourselves. We're going to now just do the coda. Right, micro study 17 is lovely and easy, especially with what has just gone before. It's your A major chord with just a trill in the bass. And then you're back back to the top. So there's nothing really difficult or nothing I actually need to say about this, other than make sure that your right hand fingering is locked in and correct. And the two hacks I have here, you can either do a BC1-3 or I prefer 1-4 because it's just easier to get back into that D chord with a bar. But the choice is yours. Let's move on. Welcome to micro study number 18. This is the coda material and it's very familiar territory because it's the first bar, but with a variation because it goes somewhere else. So we have a D major chord, 3/4 to C sharp to D, 2/3, E sharp to F sharp. Now I have decided to move up into 6th position for the G sharp A and then A sharp B. And then I can hit the C sharp to D, and then I use a second finger guide up to E sharp to F sharp again, because then it leaves me in position straight away for G sharp to A, and then a second finger up to B sharp, A sharp to B, and then 3 to 4, B to B sharp, I think it is. So if I do that nice and slowly again. So the main thing is, it doesn't matter how you get from the D to the C sharp, as long as you're literally on a 4th finger for your C sharp, because you're going to have to come back for a C natural. Final thing to note here is, at this point, you could stay in 6th position and then float up 6th position on the 2nd string. I've chosen not to because I would just prefer a thicker sound, and that's why. Let's move on to the next micro study. Welcome to micro study 19. Okay, here we have this wonderful trill with a series of chords. This is quite tough to do, but the main thing is that your second finger is anchored down behind what is in essence the melody notes. They need to ring on. So make sure they're clear, and again the same goes here. So even though they're buried in the mix, as it were, don't lose sight of the fact that they are melody notes there. The second thing is, once you've started this, I use a rest stroke down with my thumb, and then once I've picked the open D string, I bring my thumb back up to stop A. Your bass notes should not ring over each other, because it's going to muddy the waters and you don't really want that. So control the bass notes, and the same goes for the next micro study. This is a basic exercise and it's easy to practice on its own. Just pluck the D, rest stroke down from the A. Once you've played the D again, stop the A. Good control, good right hand thumb control. This might need a little bit of extra practice, so bring it back down. It's a bit tough, but it's not impossible. And once you've practiced it there, you'll get it. Again, remember, you want even tone across everything. So, main thing here, don't lose sight of the melody notes, don't cut them off, and control the basses. The second half of micro study 19, we're moving from the trill to this high chord here. Guide fingers are super important for these chord changes, so from here, guide finger 1 up to the high D, guide finger 1 back down. This time I use a guide finger down, I'm using 2nd, 4th and 1st on the C, F and G. So again, I'll do that nice and slowly. Guide finger 1 down, open A string, guide finger 2 down, stop the A bass, and then in again. There's no guide finger between those two chords, but you shouldn't need it because this should be a fairly familiar chord shape for you. So practice it on its own if needs be. As a series of chords, and then put the trills back in. And main thing is, again, even tone, control basses, and make sure all the notes ring out lovely and clear. Let's move on. Welcome to micro study number 20, the end, as it were. Now we've already covered a little bit of this in one of the previous micro studies in this video, but we're going to go over it again. We have a D to E trill with melody notes and bass notes. You put that all together, you get that is the first first half. I haven't done a repeat of that, but the main thing is, again, melody notes, control the bass. Again, this just needs a little bit of extra practice, and make sure they don't do, which I think you can hear in that last take, don't cut the melody note off. Can you hear the melody notes being cut off? If you need to, do a little tiny bit of vibrato to keep it going. Now the ending, again, there's two possible endings here. You can leave the D on and just play harmonics here, which a lot of people do, except that gives you a D and A harmonic. That gives you that sound, whereas Villa-Lobos was after this sound. Again, at the ending there's a bit of controversy because there's two different ideas there. The very high top D that's written in the 1953 or the 1950 Ashik version is Villa-Lobos explicitly stating that he wants this harmonic to sound at that pitch. It's the same note, but he also wants an open or a fretted low D. But today it's been accepted that most people will do that to leave that chord hanging on. The choice is yours. I prefer this sound, and I also do an open D sometimes, where you can leave that on and then it rings through. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully that you got some good tips and information in that. This is the end to again, all part of Villa-Lobos' 12 in 12 challenge. This is a community effort, so please get involved. Help everybody else out, demystify this fantastic music and make it available for all, which is what this is all about. Thank you for staying till the end.